wow, maybe I should go have dinner with my friends and not lay in my bed and off.
Hi, I'm Nicoletta Heidegger, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and sexologist.
Hi, I'm Lana I am a content creator and streamer on Chatterbait.
And we are here today with Jasmine Sherni. Welcome.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Sherni, Pakistani princess, and the girl that you might have seen on a lot of ads. Or maybe you just don't and you're here for other reasons. But yeah, so I started about a year ago. Before that, I was an ICU nurse. And I did food blogging. Yeah, there's more and tons of other things to explore, but yeah, that's the basis.
Gosh. I want to ask so many questions about that, but today we are going to be talking about masturbation, or as I like to call it, self-pleasure.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so first question. I think obviously people who are watching this might know y'all from masturbating to you.
They might have seen it a time or two. Maybe they stroked it, thought about us, at least in a distance.
Yes.
You know?
How does it feel when you think of somebody to you?
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. And I love it, like, at expos, like, meeting fans and being like, hi, have you off to me? And just seeing, like, kind of the different reactions. I've had people go completely silent, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm going to sign this. And I'm like, please off to me. Please go do that and think about me. I would love it. Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, I think it's part of the exhibitionism. I enjoy the thought of somebody off. I obviously want like boundaries and like not annoying people just being like, oh, I'm so hard for you in my chat room without tipping. But like, I love a tip note that's like, I'm so hard for you, right? Or when you meet a fan and they're just like, oh my God, like, I have every single one of your videos, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can't tell, we support people who self-pleasure.
Yes, we do.
And there are folks out there who are worried that they're doing it too much.
I have heard of this.
What do y'all think about this concept, and what do you think is too much?
I think, along with anything else in life, if you're doing anything to the point that is hindering the rest of your abilities, if it's hindering your ability to connect with others, it's stopping you from, let's say, having dinner with your mom or being truthful about what you're doing, then it's probably a problem, right? And it takes kind of like that self-awareness to say like, wow, maybe I should go have dinner with my friends and not lay in my bed and off, you know? Or, hey, if I self-pleasure, I'm not really able to perform with my partner. But I've known plenty of other people who say, hey, I do need to self-pleasure before I do that in order to like help myself. So,
Yeah, or it makes it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take.
What do you think? How much is too much, if there is a thing?
I think that Jasmine has it right, that if it is hindering your ability to function in life, and also if it's removing your sensitivity in your active sex life with your partner, I think that that's a problem, because you're not just taking away your pleasure, you're also taking away your partner's pleasure at that point.
The sensitivity. Well, this is another concept too, because I often get in my therapy practice, people are concerned, like, is this ruining the sex that I'm having with other people?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think that opens up the door to so many other questions and kind of root causes. Like, is it ruining the sex with your partner because your partner feels betrayed that you're looking off to someone else? Is that a boundary you need to have in your relationship? Is it ruining sex with your partner because you're not able to perform? Or that the only stimuli that can get you hard, like, do you have like a fetish almost? You know? But other than that,
Like you've conditioned yourself that this is the only thing that works for you.
In that case, then I would think maybe it could be a very real issue. Otherwise, I think everyone or most people should, even if you are in a committed relationship, having that commitment and attachment to self is still really valuable even when it comes down to pleasure.
Yeah, I also think it's really important to masturbate and take care of your own pleasure in that way, so that if you are in a relationship, you aren't depending on that other person to be your only source of pleasure. That's really unhealthy for both you and your partner to be like, you have to give me sex because I need to get off. It's like, just go take care of yourself. It's fine. And it should be encouraged. And also, also talk about mutual That's really hot too.
Oh, that's really hot. And I feel like that is almost like an art that sometimes gets lost in long-term relationships, kind of like making out and foreplay.
Yeah.
I like seeing their own self-pleasure.
Yeah.
And I like thinking that like you're in front of me.
And their vulnerability.
Yes, like, yes. I want you to stroke your back while you look at me touching myself. And like kind of like that tension of we're apart, but we're also right here. You know, it kind of builds that
push-pull tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
Yeah.
I'm out of town right now, and I requested one thing from my partner while I was out of town, and that was a masturbation video to the underwear that I left him on the bed.
That is hot.
Did you get it?
Not yet. Tonight's the night.
Okay, well, tell me what.
Better be coming in soon. But for listeners out there, you may have noticed that when we talked about like how much is too much, nobody said a number, meaning there's no like objective number for how much is too much. We talked about that it's important to know like what are your own limits. Is this negatively impacting your life or the relationships that you're in? Is it affecting your job or the other things happening in your life? You know, what are the underlying things? And then also the intention, right? Are you using this to kind of like numb yourself and disconnect from the world and you're not enjoying your life? Or does it work within the bounds of your life? Like, for example, if you really like to self-pleasure and you become a performer or a cam model, great. Yeah. That might fit into your life beautifully. So there is no like objective too much, but I think it's usually more of a moral judgment when we talk about like amount that's too much or all these things. And certainly there are people who can have struggles in their relationship with self-pleasure, and if that's you, find yourself a sex therapist so you can talk about it. So people will often like come to me in my practice and like specifically people with vaginas, and they'll be like, you know, I'm having orgasms by myself, and then when I'm having partnered sex, it's not happening. And so we explore like what kind of sex are you having, what's happening, and usually when they're on their own, they are stimulating their clitoris. And then when they're having partnered sex, they're having just penetration. Yeah. And so I have to educate them, firstly, that only about like 5 to 15% of people with vaginas orgasm just from penetration. And then we also are like, well, this is the way you know that it works. How do we get you to translate that and integrate that into your partnered sex? Because of course it doesn't feel the same if it's not what your body likes. Yeah. But it's like so shocking to some people because they're like, oh, I've been taught that I should be able to just orgasm in this way. Oh. And then I would say for people with penises, I more hear the experience where they feel like they're struggling with erections or with orgasming because the way that they're self-pleasuring is so different than the way they're doing it with a partner. So they're like holding their really tight, or they are doing it really quickly, or what they're watching or engaging in is maybe not something they're doing with a partner. So it's non-concordant. It's not the same.
No.
See, I also think that's a really big benefit to mutual masturbation is watching someone touch themselves teaches you how to touch them also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how I learned to like give the good old-fashioned HJ, right?
What do y'all think about folks whose partners are jealous that they're watching porn or self-pleasuring?
I think along with just about any I feel like that's such a, like with most questions, it's a very surface question. And it's like, what's under there? Is there something that's making you feel insecure about this? Mm-hmm. Is it that maybe you feel like your partner doesn't desire you? Is it that you think maybe your partner thinks these other people are better than you, that your partner wishes that you look like this?
Or they're not engaging with you and just watching and like not connecting with you.
Yeah. And it's also like, I think every relationship needs to kind of have those discussions and boundaries. I think that's really hard and lost completely with so many people of like, hey, what are your boundaries around this? What is okay? What isn't okay? When I have fans, in my mind, they're either single or all of their partners are completely okay with them off and talking to me. You know,
that's a hope that you have.
That is my hope. That's my hope, my wish, and my dream.
Yeah. Well, and if you're the one who your partner is like feeling concerned about and trying to maybe control your watching habits, maybe like you were saying, get curious with them about like, hey, help me understand what's bothering you about this. Like, help me understand how you're feeling.
How can I support you through this?
Yeah.
What other things can I do to make you feel supported and loved and connect in connection with me?
But I think if we don't get curious about these underlying things that you're talking about, then it becomes about control versus collaboration. Yeah. So instead of collaborating on like, what are our agreements here in this relationship, it's instead, well, just don't do this because I don't like it. But y'all have a lot of education to give. Any tips for people who have never masturbated?
Yeah, I would say get some lubrication. Okay, if you have a penis,
Lube is your
no
best
matter
friend.
what. Okay, if you, no matter what, get lubrication. But depending, you know, if you have a penis, you can probably use some lotion, right? If you have a vagina, maybe not lotion, maybe a little coconut oil. But make sure it's body safe. Start slow. Kind of maybe just sit in whatever type of room makes you feel calm and relaxed, and touch anywhere in your body, everywhere in your body. Kind of see what feels good, what doesn't. I always try to tell people start around your thighs, start going up and closer and touching everything but the main, most sensitive part.
In therapy, we call this body mapping or pleasure
Really?
mapping. Yeah. Yeah, to figure out what feels good and where, and we trying things on. And you don't even have to start with genitals. In fact, I would say not to, but start with the neutral part of your body, even your weenus. Right? Okay, what speed do I like here? What texture do I like here? What amount of pressure? And then doing that over your whole body or parts that feel comfortable enough to you until you get to where you want to be. But a lot of people go quickly to the genitals, which if you want to do a quick rub out, you can, but
I'm sorry, that's for an experienced
there's
user.
a lot of real estate.
So it's it's that slow pleasure mapping, as you've named it. Thank you for giving me a term.
Yeah.
I love terminology. And just seeing what works good. And I also think of that as your self foreplay, right? And that's the same thing as not going right to it. I gifted a friend a Hitachi because she's was I don't know how to masturbate. I've never had a and I was like, I'm gonna order you a Hitachi for your birthday. But then she was just yeah, I think I'm getting really close. And then I was like, okay, well, let's talk about what's going on. But she was just turning it all the way up and putting it immediately on. Ooh. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, baby, please, no.
Yeah, some people short circuit themselves because it's too much intensity too quickly, and then there's not enough build.
Yeah, I was like, you have to start slow. I was like, have you ever watched, I don't know what to look up. And I was like, okay, well, you just open up a search bar and look up some normal romantic stuff. And you can also look and see what looks good for you. I don't know.
There's a lot of erotic audiobooks that I found a lot of women are more attracted to, just because it's a bit more intimate, and I guess I don't
voice.
know. Yeah, I've heard that women like erotic audio more than visual aids. Men are more attracted to visual aids. Obviously, that's not a blanket statement, but I have heard that.
Yeah. So we talked about everything from how much self-pleasure is too much, how do we define it, what ways we like, how to incorporate it with a partner if you want to do some mutual fun. Lots of good stuff here. Any last tips for anybody before we say goodbye and invite you to go explore your body?
Do what feels right for you. And I hope that you take control over your own pleasure.
Yeah. Wash your hands and have fun.
Wash your hands, get some lube.
Yes.
And there's no wrong way, just take some time and be curious. Thanks everyone for tuning in for this chat about self-pleasure. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow all of our amazing guests. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.